one, swallow, test one, two. That's my, that's my. That's one, two.
very good morning, honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I have great pleasure in welcoming you to the University of Nottingham, Malaysia's graduation ceremony. I hope that you will enjoy this day. Also at today's ceremony, it gives us great pleasure to confer the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters to Her Excellency Vicky Treadle, British High Commissioner to Malaysia. As this is a formal occasion, may I seek your kind cooperation in ensuring order and smooth running of this ceremony with the following. Firstly, please ensure that all your mobile phones are either switched off or on silent mode throughout the ceremony. Secondly, please remain in your seats during the ceremony. And finally, please note that photography is permitted during the ceremony, but only from your seats. At the end of the ceremony, after the members of the platform have left the hall, all students are required to follow the procession out of this hall and allow the photographers to organize the group photography. All other guests, kindly remain in your seats until further notice. Guests are also cordially invited to join the officers of the university, staff, and graduates for a buffet reception, which will be served at the marquee at the Academic Plaza, which is right outside this building. Our ushers will be on hand to direct you accordingly. Thank you for your kind attention. Honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, may I please ask you to kindly rise for the entry of the procession.
Please be seated. Her Excellency Vicky Treadle, British High Commissioner to Malaysia, Professor Graham Kendall, Pro-Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Provost and CEO of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, Yang Berbahaja, Admiral Tan Sri Dato Sutya Muhammad Anwar Haj Muhammad Noor, Chairman of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, Professor Kevin Shakesheff, Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the Faculty of Science, University of Nottingham, Mr. Fahmi Ismail, Board Member of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, I declare this congregation open for the conferment of degrees and the award of diplomas. It's my honor to welcome you all here to this ceremony of graduation at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. It gives me great pleasure to be with all of you here today. My name is Shearer West, and I'm the Vice Chancellor and President of the University of Nottingham. It's my pleasure to welcome to this graduation ceremony graduands from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Welcome also to family, to friends and loved ones, and all of those who are not here today thinking about you. Graduation ceremonies are one of the most important occasions of the university year. They represent a time when we come together as a community to mark publicly and symbolically the efforts and dedication that you've shown in completing your awards and celebrate together all that you have achieved. As part of this occasion, there is a ritual where you cross the stage and shake hands and get your degree certificate. Doing that publicly in front of your supporters, your lecturers, and university staff makes it all the more meaningful. It gives us at the university an opportunity to celebrate academic excellence, and it gives family, friends, and supporters the opportunity to see the culmination of their support and to celebrate with you. We also appreciate it can be a bit daunting for graduands, but we want you to smile and enjoy walking across the stage. This is your moment. Although this may seem like a very formal occasion, we also want you in the audience to make as much noise as possible, to clap and cheer and be happy for those who are crossing the platform. Graduation ceremonies are a celebration of achievement, and I'm sure you're all looking forward to continuing to celebrate after this ceremony. But I'd ask you to take some time to reflect on your experience here at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. You've of course developed academically, you've acquired new knowledge and new skills, but you've also prepared yourself for your future life and work through activities outside your formal degree programs. For some of you, this would have been through contributions in sport, artistic or social life of the university, through your involvement in the university's clubs and events run by students. For others, it will be through volunteering work, supporting local charities and social enterprises. Or it will be through the opportunity to take work experience placements or study abroad. You should be proud of your achievements, whether academic, community service, or cultural, and the contributions you've made while at the university. These opportunities are all part of the wider experience of university life, and combined with your academic studies are part of what make higher education such a brilliant and transformative experience. And I hope you all agree that you're graduating from a great university. The University of Nottingham, throughout the world, it's a global community. We have campuses in the UK, in China, and here in Malaysia, in fabulous settings and giving us inspiring places to work, live, and study. But Nottingham is not just about its physical campuses in the UK and Asia. The university also has students who choose to study with us from 150 countries, as well as staff from all over the world. We'll continue to build our culture and our global orientation in the coming years, and we're passionate about developing our students as global citizens, benefiting from a vibrant, multicultural, and inclusive environment. So universities are places of transformation, and together we aim to transform the world around us through education and through research, and most importantly through you, through the knowledge you've gained and the experience you've had while you've been with us. We're sure this has been transformational for you, perhaps in ways that you haven't yet realized. Graduands, enjoy this ceremony and this special day. You deserve it. Thank you. I'm now pleased to invite the Provost and CEO of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, Professor Graham Kendall, to address you.
Professor Shira West, President and Vice-Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Her Excellency Vicky Treadell, British High Commissioner to Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Admiral Tan Sri Dato Sutia Mohammed Anwar Haji Mohammed Noor, Chairman of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, Saran Bahad, Mr. Fahmi Ismail, Board Member of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, Saran Bahad, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations on what you're about to achieve today. I know for some of you it's been a long haul, or it's felt like a long haul, but I hope you feel that it's been worth it. I also stand here in front of you as a proud alumni of this university. I graduated a few years ago, I won't tell you when. But I hope once you've crossed this stage and you transition from a graduand to a graduate, that you will be part of the alumni, and I hope you feel proud that you're an alumni of this university and you go out into the world and actually promote us and become ambassadors for our university. And some of you may go on for further study and maybe become an alumni twice, and that'll be one better than me. As the Vice-Chancellor has said something about the university, I just want to maybe expand on that a little bit. The The University of Nottingham is ranked in the top 100 universities in the world, and we're very proud of that. And that places it in the top 1% of all universities worldwide. And it is recognised as being both entrepreneur, I forget that word, enterprising and innovative. I always struggle with that word. That's the word I was worried about. But the university continues to play a leading role in the internationalisation of higher education. Our Malaysia campus has been here since 2000, well, here since 2005. We operated in Kuala Lumpur in 2000 for 5 years. And our campus in China opened about 15 years ago. And of course, we have a UK campus, which we can trace its roots back to 1881. And what many people don't realise, and I include my colleagues in the UK, is about 25% of our students now are registered on our Asia campuses. We have about 5,000 students here, about 8,000 in China, 13,000 students. That's about 25% of all the students enrolled at any given time in the University of Nottingham. And we deliver across the world. We have students from across the world, we have staff from across the world, and we deliver our programmes from Singapore to the West Indies, from Spain to Abu Dhabi, and from Thailand to Nigeria. So Nottingham is truly distinctive in its focus on global reach. I think the external communities recognise that. And as you become alumni, wherever you are in the world, you will never be far from an alumni of the University of Nottingham. So you're going to go out of this room armed with a certificate from the University of Nottingham, and hopefully that will help your careers as you progress through life. But there's some other important attributes that I'd like you to think about and maybe take away with you and reflect on. Time is a really important commodity. Unlike the advantage that you've got from studying at one of the top 100 universities in the world, which not everyone is able to do, everybody has the same amount of time. But you only have a limited amount of time, and you should use that to your benefit. You should use your time effectively. And the late Steve Jobs once said, "Death is very likely. The single best investment. Death is very likely. The best invention of life." I'm going to start that again because I got my commas mixed up. Death is very likely the best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will probably become old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. And Steve Jobs said that at a graduation ceremony in 2005. So use your knowledge and your time to the best effect that you can. The other thing that I think you should have is the values that you hold in life. And I've quoted from Steve Jobs, and I'm a computer scientist, so I can't quote from Steve Jobs and not quote from Bill Gates. And Bill Gates, when he commented on the values in life, he said, "I hope you will judge yourselves not on your professional accomplishments alone, but also on how well you have addressed the world's deepest inequities, and also on how well you treated people a world away who have nothing in common with you but their humanity." And there's another quote that echoes that of Bill Gates that says, "The world is not so competitive. The world is so competitive, aggressive and selfish, but during the time we spend here, we must be all but that." And that quote is from someone called Jose Mourinho, which some of you may know. So I'm a computer scientist and a Chelsea supporter, although he's with the opposition now. So I'd like you to take away your knowledge, obviously, that you've gained here, the time that you've got available, and make the best use of that, but also make sure that you're operating or working in your daily life to the values that you would expect from others. So it's now up to you to take full advantage of the opportunities that graduating from the University of Nottingham presents, grasp it with both hands, and get a return on the investment that you have made in terms of time, money, and personal sacrifice. You also owe it to the others that have supported you, many of which are sitting on the other side of the room. You owe it to those that have supported you through this journey, be that friends, family, or your peer group. Benjamin Franklin remarked once, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. You and your family have already made that investment, both financially and in many other ways. But we hope that it is not just an initial deposit and that you will continue to learn throughout the rest of your time on this planet. You're only at the start of your journey. Some of you may think this is the end of a journey, but as soon as you cross this stage, you start another journey. But you've taken more than a single step. But you've got many more miles to travel, and you should embrace that, look forward to it, and make the most of any opportunity that comes along. We hope that we, especially my colleagues who are here on the stage, have helped you take your first steps and you are now ready to run and eventually fly. I hope that your award from the University of Nottingham, together with the knowledge you now have, the effective use of your time, and the values by which you lead your life, will have a positive impact on your career, as well as enabling you to achieve your own personal goals. You are joining a group of individuals, the University of Nottingham alumni, who are global citizens, who are sensitive to other cultures and races, to the differences and similarities between them, and also to the opportunities and resources that others do not have. You can use your global education to help you, as an individual, to get on more quickly in this international and ever-increasing arena. So many congratulations on your award. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I wish you every success in your future endeavours and careers. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Professor Kendall. This morning, we welcome a very distinguished guest who's to receive an honorary degree from this university. And I'm afraid Graham, you'll have to stand up again. I have the great pleasure in once again asking Professor Graham Kendall to present Her Excellency Vicky Treadell.
Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure and honour to present Her Excellency Vicky Treadell, British High Commissioner to Malaysia, as a worthy recipient of an honorary doctorate from the University of Nottingham. Vicky was born in Ipoh, Malaysia. She was raised here until she was 8 years old, when her family migrated to the UK. When a High Commissioner says that they have a special relationship with the country of their posting, in Vicky's case this is certainly true. And I can only assume that she was pleased to have beaten off the competition to land her job in the British Foreign Service's competitive process for these very senior jobs. Returning to serve in the country where she was born almost half a century later must be pretty special. Vicky Treadell has been the British High Commissioner to Malaysia since October 2014, following in the footsteps of the late Simon Featherstone. We wondered at the time if Vicky would be able to fill Simon's shoes. We have had 4.5 years to make that judgment, and Vicky has exceeded all our expectations, and like Simon, she places a great burden on her successor. Vicky has a wide range of diplomatic experience, having joined the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in 1978. She was the British Deputy High Commissioner in Mumbai, covering Western India from 2006 to 2010. Her main focus was economic diplomacy, promoting two-way trade and investment, building relationships with corporate India and the main financial institutions headquartered in Mumbai, such as the Tata Group and the Reserve Bank of India. Her Excellency was the British High Commissioner to New Zealand, a post she held between 2010 and 2014. She was the first woman to hold this position. Her posting to New Zealand also saw her cross-accredited as High Commissioner to Samoa and appointed as Governor of the Pitcairn Islands, the last remaining British overseas territory in the Pacific Ocean, which covers 4 islands and 880,000 square kilometres of ocean. Vicky has proven leadership experience. She said she led the UK's crisis response efforts during the November 2006 Mumbai terrorist attacks and the February 2011 Christchurch earthquake. She has shown her ability to keep calm under intense pressure. I can testify that Vicky is able to manage a crisis. In April 2018, we had an occurrence which bordered on a diplomatic incident and threatened international relations between the UK and Malaysia. A UK TV show, MasterChef, eliminated a Malaysian contestant as the chicken in her rendang dish was deemed by the judges not to have crispy enough skin. We, of course, all know that chicken rendang is not crispy. Indonesians and Malaysians put aside their dispute about where the dish originated and took to social media. Even Malaysia's Prime Minister said on social media, "Who eats crispy chicken rendang?" Vicky came down on the side of Malaysia, not the MasterChef judges, when she tweeted, "Rendang is an iconic Malaysian national dish. It is never crispy and should not be confused with the fried chicken sometimes served with nasi lemak." Her intervention and subsequent follow-up interviews lent some humour to the situation, which diffused the high tensions that were experienced at the time. However, I would remind Your Excellency that one of the MasterChef judges, John Turode, is actually Australian. So you might be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire when you take up your next posting. Other issues that Vicky has had to deal with during her time here, I can only imagine. I know the one perennial issue that has been ever present since 2016 is Brexit. I've not been to an event where Vicky has not been asked about this, and it's to her credit that she's been able to answer any questions in a way that you would expect from an experienced diplomat. She has been a great champion of youth and women. Her Successor Generation Initiative, SGI, has seen Britain engage with the next generation Malaysians, helping to future-proof our ties. As a senior woman, Vicky embraces the responsibility to be a role model for others and uses her profile to create networks of mutual support. Indeed, one of Vicky's last initiatives has been to help promote women's political participation at a conference of the Dewan Rakyat, Malaysia's parliament. Vicky was awarded membership of the Royal Victorian Order, MVO, in 1989, and she was made a Companion of the Order of St Michael and St George, CMG, in 2010. She has won the Public Service Award in the prestigious Asian Women of Achievement Awards in 2009. I would like to personally thank Vicky for her continued and demonstrated confidence in the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. We have hosted the UK Prime Minister on this campus, several UK ministers, and many other UK dignitaries. In our nearly 20-year history, these were eclipsed when we hosted Prince Charles in November 2017, at the invitation of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. We greatly appreciate the confidence in allowing us to host such a high-profile visit. I was deeply honoured for Vicky and myself to be able to show His Royal Highness the very best of British education in Malaysia when he visited this campus. It's not all quite so serious though. In May 2018, the culmination of our reputation campaign, which the University of Nottingham launched, was held at an event held in the iconic Petronas Towers. In a highlight of the evening, Professor Sir Martin Polyakov conducted an experiment based on his periodic table of videos. Vicky took the role of his technician's assistant, dressed in a personalised lab coat, and helped demonstrate one of the effects of climate change. This was done with great humour and which the audience appreciated. On a more personal note, I would like to thank Vicky for all the help she has given me and the University of Nottingham, not only in Malaysia, but globally. Vicky has promoted a culture that the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and their diplomats are there to help. I would like to think that we have not called on that generosity too often, but when we have, both Vicky and her team reacted positively and have been instrumental in helping us resolve situations which would have been a lot more difficult otherwise. I mentioned Vicky's next posting. In less than a month, Vicky will leave Malaysia to become Britain's next High Commissioner to Australia. As an experienced diplomat, Australia's gain is Malaysia's loss. I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing her the very best in her new posting. Vicky, on behalf of Malaysia, the University of Nottingham, and from me personally, I would like to thank you for your contribution and service, and we wish you great success in whatever you do next. It has been an honour and a pleasure to work with you in Malaysia, and I am delighted that we will carry on working together now that you have been kind enough to accept an honorary degree from us. You have an open invite to visit any of our campuses in Malaysia, China or the UK at any time. Vice-Chancellor, to you and to the whole congregation, I present Her Excellency Vicky Treadell, British High Commissioner to Malaysia, as eminently worthy to receive the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority of the University of Nottingham vested in my office, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. We will now continue with the conferment of degrees and the award of diplomas and certificates. By the authority of the University of Nottingham vested in my office, I admit the candidates presented today and those commended to their degrees, diplomas, and certificates in absentia. I call upon Professor Lee Chu Ging to present the graduands and his faculty for their degrees.
Vice-Chancellor, to you and to the congregation, I present these students in my faculty for the following degrees. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours, English Language and Literature, Xiao Jing Ying. Finance, Accounting and Management, Priscilla Bumit. International Communication Studies, Hu Yi Ming. Lai Zhong Yu. Shantini Murthy. Siu Shamin. International Communication Studies with Films and Television Studies, Chang Yun Yi. International Relations, Megat Ohman Deni. Muhammad Fakhruddin bin Shawaluddin. For the degree of Bachelor of Education with Honours, TESOL, Lu Xin Teng. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Business Economics and Finance, Gang Xing Wei. Yap Yi Wen. Economics, Fatin Nabila binti Roslan. Finance, Accounting and Management, Nadia Irina Nafisa binti Abdul Wahab. Chai I.D. Serena Eng Ming Ai. International Business Management, Park Sun Jun. For the postgraduate certificates, Higher Educations, Kong Ching. Kamil Bayu Mustafa. For the degree of Master of Arts, Educations, Nadira Lakruwani Ilipi Rumarachi. Fatima Nurai Mohammed Zuhair. Educational Leadership and Management, Ho Tae Eng. English Language and Literature, Rima Melati binti Awab. Christina Kim Bui Sim. English with Creative Writing, Iza Hadira binti Ahmad Kawari. Chao Yen Ling. International Relations, Muhammad Asad Khan. No Farisa Narina binti Rosli. Special and Inclusive Education, Siak Wei Chiu. For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Choi Sun Ho. Chun Lee San Amanda. Lee Jae Hui. Dalita Ko Rendawa. Ibrahim Hussein Sheikh Shah. Tan Mei Yan. Yvonne Tan Yi Wen. Sivarama Krishnan Rajalingam. Finance, Neil Arthur Edmonds. Chandan Singh. For the degree of Master of Science, Business and Management, Zareen Muntaj Chaudhry. Mohammed Shamin. Finance and Investment, Chang Yi Sen. Chong Jung Yang. Chiu Ka Seng. Joan Hidajat. Kok Yong Lee. Lim Lee Cheng. Dayangku Siti Noh Kurinusha, panggilan Haji Johari. Dania Prabhu. Shifa Mohammed Said. Xia Jiang Yi. Yao Jun Yi. Yap Su Meng. Yip Kang Lee. International Business, Sanchit Arora. Aizat Famiru bin Azizman. Chiu Li Hui. Nadia binti Mazlan. Vetlana Mogudova. International Development Management, Ahad Araiba Ashif. Leila No Al-Imani Jirari. Lazrita binti Long Ahmad Zainal Abidin. Dan Daniel Muruai Mabuo. Aishat Sada. Amina binti Shaharuddin. Melanie Siu Tien Mi. Ronald Sutija. Management Psychology, Lim Ki Leng. Professional Accountancy, Salini Josephine Joseph. Wong Yi Zhen. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Nottingham University Business School, Asha Isha Valeche Katamba. School of English, Shantini S. Karara Singham. School of Politics, History and International Relations, Udaya Nandani Hiraj. Wenceslaus Sheya Subai. For the degree of postgraduate certificates, Educational Leadership and Management, Muhammad Tahir Mahmud Munshi. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Applied Psychology and Management, Tung Ni Ling. For the degree of Master of Science, International Development Management, Ashar Abbas Abdallah Ibrahim. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Economics, Lim Hong Cheong.
I now call upon Her Excellency Vicky Trudell to address the congregation.
Professor Shira West, President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Professor Graham Candle, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Provost and CEO, Yang Berbahagia Admiral Tan Sri Dato Setia Mohammed Anwar Haji Mohammed Noor, Chairman of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, Mr. Fahmi Ismail, Board Member of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, but most of all to the graduands here today, or I should call you the graduates now. I think, as Professor Kendall mentioned in his opening remarks, life is a journey, and the choices you make the roadmap that you design for yourself, the end destination that you might be aiming for. The one thing we know and we all have in common, regardless of race, religion, gender, the moment we're born, the end destination is pretty clear. We know that on this earth, our time is limited. How long we have, we don't really know. Life delivers sadness, happiness, surprises. But the thing we should all endeavor to do is to live our life well, to make the choices we make as well informed as possible. So I thought when I was thinking about what I should say today is perhaps share a little bit about my life's journey to this point where I stand today, and maybe a little preview of where I think I might be heading to. So if you will indulge me, that is the story that I will share with you this morning. My journey began 59 years ago at the Chinese maternity hospital in Ipoh. When I came, I'm told by my mother, screaming and shouting into this world. I was 9 pounds, 7 ounces. I came into a mixed race family. My mother was Chinese and my father was Eurasian of Dutch Burgher ancestry. And I grew up like a typical Malaysian girl in Ipoh. I went to St. John's Nursery, and then I went on to the Tarsesian Convent. Anyone from the Tarsesian Convent here? Normally we find one or two in a crowd. And I wore my little blue pinafore uniform with white shirt, my white ankle socks, and my little canvas white pumps to school. But at the age of 8, my father, who had this life plan, he'd gone to boarding school in the UK, he grew up more English than the English, had determined that when he had made enough money, he would retire and take all of us to Britain. So from a typical Malaysian childhood, going to see aunties and uncles, playing with my cousins, all my friends at school, suddenly I found myself age 8 in a British boarding school. So completely different, such a cultural change. And I grew up in a town called Bexhill-on-Sea. Now, for those of you who are not the eldest child, you will absolutely understand what I'm about to say. I always followed in my sister's footsteps. My older sister, she was 2.5 years older than me. Whatever she succeeded in getting academically, I knew that that was the benchmark that I had been set, and that was the expectation, that I should at least equal my sister in her academic success. But at 18, when I had just completed my A-levels, I announced one morning at breakfast to my parents, we used to eat breakfast together as a family, that I wanted to take a gap year, defer going to university. And of course, my sister, meanwhile, was at university. And this was deeply shocking for my parents. They said, "What do you mean you want to put off going to university?" Parents in this room might empathize with my parents. And I said, well, you know, I want to do what a lot of my British friends are doing. I'd like to take a year off, travel a little bit, and then I will take up my place at university. I had 2 provisional offers to read law in Bristol and in Sussex. And that's what I was thinking I was going to do in about a year's time. So my father and mother said, well, you know, if you think the bank of daddy and mummy is going to pay for this, you have another thing coming. You need to understand the value of money. I suppose I was privileged. My parents were reasonably well off, and I had had a good life till then. So they said, we'll do a deal with you. If you go and get a job and work for a few months, whatever you say, we will look at how we match it or top it up. but you need to understand that when you take your year off and you're spending your money on your travels, you know where that money comes from. So I ended up joining my organization, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the Diplomatic Service, as a junior clerical officer at the age of 18. And after a few months there, meeting all these diplomats coming and going, talking about their careers at different assignments, at different embassies and high commissions around the world, I thought to myself, instead of a gap year traveling, I could have a career traveling, taking me to different parts of the world. And I can do it from this entry level. Because when I took that clerical job, partly because it was in London, and I thought how fantastic to live in London for a few months, I had no idea that this was something I wanted to do. So I think it was about 3 months later, I was home at the weekend, and I said to my parents, I've decided not to go to university. I am going to pursue a career in the British Diplomatic Service. This was another moment of great disappointment from my parents that I would not be going to university. They tried to talk me out of it, but then they realized I was quite determined. They pointed out, you're joining at the lowest rung of the ladder. How are you, without a degree, going to become a senior diplomat? And I remember thinking, with determination, I'm 18 now, much depends on what I do in the next 3 to 4 years. If by the time I'm 21, 22, I can be at the grade that the graduate entrants come in at, actually it's a level playing field, it's on merit, it's about how I perform. So my dad gave me a long lecture about being serious about this decision, seizing the opportunities ahead of me, and applying myself to the task ahead. So that is how I entered my career, not as a graduate entrant, but as someone who decided to work her way up. And I think one of the first lessons that I learnt as a young woman coming into the world as an adult with my first job was to be confident about myself, to have confidence in myself, to believe that everything was possible. And now when I mentor younger women and the occasional young man, I talk a lot about confidence. It is something perhaps that women do not project as well, that self-belief. And the other thing I quickly learned is that for all the confidence in the world, if you do not have courage to pursue your ambitions, then there is no point having confidence. Courage sometimes to stand up to people telling you you will never succeed, or this job is not for you. When I first entered the British Diplomatic Service, and I looked up the ladder at what ambassadors, director generals, secretary general equivalents looked like, they were all exclusively white Anglo-Saxon men. We love you dearly, Graham, but that's what they all looked like. And there was no one that looked like me. There were no female ambassadors. I think the most senior woman we had at the time was at director general level. So you might think this is a bit crazy. When I look at what senior management looks like, there are no women and there are no mixed race people or people from ethnic minorities in the Britain at that time. But nonetheless, with courage, there was a particular senior officer that I admired, and I approached him and I said, I want to learn, not least because I don't want my parents to be disappointed because I didn't go to university. And what I'm aiming for is to be this particular graduate entrant grade by the time I'm 21, 22. So confidence allied with courage I think were two early life lessons that I gained. But as I have progressed in my career, as I have navigated that journey for myself, the other thing that I have learned that I believe is absolutely essential in leadership is compassion. To be able to empathize with people, to be able to relate to them, that small acts of kindness and understanding take you a very long way. If you are a leader without compassion and you ask people to do extraordinary things for you at extraordinary times, you will turn around and see that no one is following. People have to believe in you, and it starts with you believing in yourself and you being kind to yourself. Often we are our worst critics. And on that note, what I would say, it is essential to be self-aware, as long as it's constructive criticism. When we wake up in the morning and we look in the mirror, who do we see? Do you understand the person staring back at you, what their strengths and weaknesses are? And if you know what you're really good at, you know what to focus on maintaining, how to improve and be even better. But real success lies in looking within at perhaps where you are not so confident, the things that you might not be so good at, and that's where the work lies. We are never perfect. For me, I think you're always working, always learning. And the arrogance of some leaders is that they think they are there and they have nothing to learn. I have found some of the most inspirational people in my life are my juniors, who do amazing things, who are innovative and creative. And I have learned that to truly succeed, it is about giving them space to flourish, to make mistakes. And never fear those mistakes in life, as long as you know you can take the learning from those errors that you might make, because then you won't repeat them and you will be all the stronger for them. So as I have navigated my journey, my first overseas posting to Islamabad in Pakistan, the most beautiful country with the most magnificent scenery and people who are so hospitable. I remember on one particular journey, we were trying to head to the Chinese border at the end of the Karakoram highway in the Western Himalayas. And we stopped at a local village, and a goat herd gave us some room to put up camp that night. He was not a wealthy man, and he said to us, "Whatever I have, I will share with you." So we must never judge people by the politics or the politicians. You must judge people that you meet on the street, ordinary citizens. And it is about those connections between people, the mutual respect that should be at the heart of every relationship, finding ways to trust. When you mistrust, there can be no relationship, there can be no community, there can be no society. So how we relate to each other, how we have that compassion for the other is really essential. And actually, as a diplomat, that is such a vital thing to learn. Sometimes I have been asked to do difficult things by my government, to have conversations I know the local government might not welcome on issues that are highly sensitive. But if we can find that human connection at the heart of every individual, of every religion, we all, do we not want simply justice and fairness and an opportunity? And if we can understand that, we can relate to each other in a very human way. So I find as I go around my job as a diplomat representing my country, I try to find that point of connection, that point of understanding, that point of mutual respect, that point of compassion and understanding. And as I build the relationships that I necessarily have to, I put trust into those relationships. As a leader too, you have to allow people the space, as I said earlier, to trust your team, to trust your colleagues, that they are in those jobs because they were determined to be the best candidate for that job. If they were selected for that job, actually you should give them the freedom to do it. But to provide a steadying hand, to be there to provide guidance, or to talk through a difficult issue, to learn the art of the open question, to help your team come to the right decision and conclusion themselves. Yes, it is true, every now and again, you might have to be more specific, to set a direction. But the beauty of watching different people, different characters, different personalities, is how given that direction, how they imply who they are to the delivery of that task. And in that, allowing people the freedom on how they do it, how they deliver, you find a dynamic happens, innovation, creativity, ideas you had never thought about. So for me, it's about liberating people to be the best that they can be. I have often been given choices in life. Indeed, as Professor Kendall knows, and a couple of members of my team who are in the audience, before Christmas, I was planning to go back to London. I've been overseas now in my various recent assignments for over 12 years. And I thought it was about time to go home. Though one might argue, because of my background, I'm also home here in Malaysia. And I had a particular idea of what I wanted to do once I returned to the United Kingdom. And I got a phone call. A job had come up. It needed to be filled. Funnily enough, I'd been approached about a year ago about the same job, and I'd said no, because I had a different plan. But I was asked, would I consider being High Commissioner to Australia, because a vacancy had suddenly presented itself, and there was an urgent need to fill it. And this is the other lesson that I have learned in life. Sometimes opportunities you are not expecting come to you. You have to make judgments. Is this the right opportunity for me or not? You should talk to the people closest, dearest to you. In my case, my husband. I could not just make this decision unilaterally for myself, because it's about our life, my family. If I do this, is it something he is happy with? And we talked it through, and we decided, yes, this was an opportunity that I should take. So sometimes you may think you have a clear idea of what you want to do. All I'm simply saying is, do not close yourself to opportunities that present themselves. I think the only job in my organization that I have had a particular ambition to have was actually this one here in Malaysia. And when I got the job as Deputy High Commissioner in India, again, it presented itself to me, it fitted my experience, and so I decided to go for it. But this was a job I was determined to do at some point in my career, before that eventual end we all know is somewhere around the corner, not too close, I hope. But in wanting this job in particular, I needed to think about how to equip myself to be a good candidate. We have a competitive process in the British Diplomatic Service. When we don't get a phone call usually saying this is where we want you to go, so you have to compete for jobs. And I knew the job that I did in India would be important for this job because there was a lot of economic diplomacy, business, trade, investment. I knew the job in New Zealand would be good in preparing me for this because there was a lot of government-to-government work, the political and bilateral relationship, and the combination of those two sets of experience made me, I felt, a good and credible candidate to be British High Commissioner. So there is a bit of planning, there is a bit of thinking about your skills, your attributes, the networks, the experience you bring. Having clarity on that is really important. So here I am, having completed 4.5 years in a country that will always be a part of me. This is the 3rd time in my life that I have lived in this country. My early years till aged 8, and then in my late 20s as a junior diplomat at the High Commission in Kuala Lumpur, and then coming back now and finishing my time as British High Commissioner. What I would say to all my Malaysian friends, you have the most extraordinary country. You were showing the world long before countries like Britain cottoned on to the principle of multiculturalism, of being inclusive and diverse. You have held a very precious gift in this country, and you must hold it close. That is my humble opinion. With the different races and religions here, that is a strength, the diversity of your population. This is a reason why wonderful universities like Nottingham came here, not just because of what people in Malaysia wanted for themselves, but actually your strategic location at the heart of ASEAN and the Asia-Pacific region. This should be a destination for foreign investment to come in and create jobs for the kind of brilliant young graduates that we see here today. This should be at the heart of Asia. The potential of Malaysia is second to none. If you can harness your human capital and propel it for the 21st century, everything is possible. When Tun Mahathir came back after G14, he said he wanted to put the raw back into this tiger economy. And that comes from making the most of the human capital, the bright young talent in this room. But for those of you on this side of the room, parents, maybe you are businessmen and women, you work for organizations, how do we create that new economy? How do you harness the potential of the human talent in this country? And that, I think, comes from inclusive growth, from thinking about a Malaysia for all Malaysians. People like me will always be connected to this beautiful country. And even though I am leaving as British High Commissioner to Malaysia, I know I will be back and back again because I will always balik kampung. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicky, for that inspiring talk. I'd like to invite Professor Deborah Hall, Vice Provost for Research and Knowledge Exchange of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, to present the closing remarks.
I'm a little bit smaller than Her Excellency Vicky Treadle. Professor Shira West, President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham. Her Excellency Vicky Treadle, British High Commissioner to Malaysia. Professor Graham Kendall, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, CEO and Provost of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. YB Admiral Tan Sri Dato Setia Muhammad Anwar Haji Muhammad Noor, Chairman of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, Mr. Fahmi Ismail, Board Member of the University of Nottingham in Malaysia, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to conclude this morning's proceedings with just a few words to our graduates. As you proceed to the next chapter of your lives, I offer the following 3 ingredients for success. First, integrity. If you carry out your responsibilities consistently, to the best of your ability, people will trust you as a colleague and turn to you for leadership. Good governance, transparency, and credibility are all attributes for which British institutions, both at home and overseas, are recognised and valued. Graduates, as are alumni, you are and always will be ambassadors for the University of Nottingham. The certificate that you are now holding carries with it not just recognition for all of the hard work that you have done over the past few years, but also some degree of responsibility in the future for contributing to the positive reputation of our institution here at the University of Nottingham. Let this guide you throughout your career. Second, stay hungry to learn. Follow your instincts and curiosity wherever they may lead, and broaden your knowledge by engaging with others as much as you can. Embrace opportunities to collaborate with others who can introduce you to new perspectives and insights. This gives me a chance to say, don't forget us. While you've been here, many of you will have taken up opportunities to interact with industry leaders, government representatives, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and such like. One day, you will be in their shoes, sitting at the head of the boardroom table. And when you are, remember back to your days at the University of Nottingham. Maybe you would want to tell us about your achievements. Offer internship opportunities to our new graduates or undergraduates. Give an inspiring lecture on your success. Mentor our students. Even hire some of the fresh graduates from our university. Or even donate money to help our work. Supporting lifelong learning is the key to our success as a society, and it helps us grow as individuals. We will always be delighted to hear from you, and please do connect with the university through our alumni network. I know there are staff waiting outside who are happy to talk to you about how you can do this. My third and final ingredient for success is enjoy what you do in life. Take pleasure and satisfaction in what you have achieved today and what you will achieve tomorrow. This is the key to a happy life. So now, class of 2019, please stand up. On the stage here, you can see represented some of the academic and professional services staff who have made possible your achievements to date. This is your opportunity to give a public gesture of thanks to them for helping you along your journey. And now, I'd like you to turn and face some of the most important people of the room. If you don't know who they are not the people on the stage. They are the people stood here. Your family, your friends who've supported you emotionally and financially. I think they deserve an even bigger public gesture of thanks. Graduates, and now my fellow alumni of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, congratulations to you all. You've worked hard, you deserve to be proud of this achievement, and take this opportunity to enjoy your celebrations today. Thank you.
I now declare the congregation closed. Please stand while the national anthems of the United Kingdom and Malaysia are played.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, please be seated. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and President of the University of Nottingham, Professor Shearer West, and Professor Graham Kendall, Provost and CEO of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for your kind presence at this ceremony. To our guests, please join us for the buffet reception after this. Please remember to present your ticket to the ushers before entering the buffet area. For your kind information, the reception will be served until 1:30 p.m. today. Thank you all once again for making this event a joyful and memorable one for the graduates and their family. Wishing you all a very nice afternoon.